Hello again. Welcome. Welcome. How are you today? Everything okay? Me? I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, I'm fine. Yes, as usual. ¿Me has visto mal alguna vez? Have you ever seen me upset? Have you ever seen me unhappy? Have you ever seen me sad? Yeah, sad and blue. Sad and blue. Yes. Have you ever seen me down in the dumps? ¿Cómo? ¿Me has visto alguna vez abajo en los vertederos? ¿Y eso qué significa? Estar de capa caída. Yes, cabizbajo y meditabundo. O es cabizbundo, ¿no? Y meditabajo? No. Al revés. Cabizbajo y meditabundo. Yeah, you've never seen me down in the dumps. Dump es un vertedero. No. Se prohíben verter escombros. No, se dice no dumping. No dumping. No dumping, 2 words, no dumping. In Spanish se prohíbe verter escombros. Okay, fine. No dumping. All right, to dump. Y ella me ha dumpeado. Se me ha dejado por otro. She dumped me. O sea, al vertedero. She dumped me. Me ha volcado. Camiones volquete, se dice. Those are dump trucks. In Great Britain, dumpster. Dumpster. Suena bien, dumpster. In the United States, dump truck. Camión de dumping. Vamos, de verter. Volquete, yeah. Yeah, ella me ha volteado, me ha volqueteado. All right, she dumped me. Can you believe it? Me! You know, a famous English teacher. Yeah, my God. Yes, I have to eat humble pie. Now I'm eating humble pie. No entiendes. Ahora estoy comiendo tarta de humildad. Porque es una situación que me baja la humildad, o sea, me baja los humos. Claro. Humble. To humble, to humiliate, ojo, this is important. Humillar. Es un poco fuerte, ¿no? Humillar en español. Claro, en inglés también si dices humiliate, humiliate. To humiliate es humillar a alguien. O sea, vergüenza, es para que sienta vergüenza. To feel shame. You humiliate somebody. Now to humble somebody, escrito humble con H. To humble is ponerle un poco en su sitio. Y bajarle las tonterías y los humos. All right? That's to humble. To humble somebody. Humildad. And we say, to eat humble pie. And this is very common in English. To eat humble pie. Literalmente, pie es un pastel, is a pie. Cake is más bien tarta, o bizcocho is cake. But pie, escrito pie, suele ser como un pastel de merengue, limón, etc. It's a lemon meringue pie. Cheesecake, pero se dice cheesecake. Tarta de queso, ¿no? Sí. Okay, pastel de queso no se dice. No? All right. We say cheesecake. Yeah. I don't like cheesecake. I think I'm the only person in the world who doesn't like cheesecake. Yeah. We say I don't like sweets. The other day, I was having lunch with somebody, and that person ordered cheesecake, and I ordered a café solo. You know, just a black coffee. All right. But the waiter brought 2 spoons. And I said, well, and the other person said, try it. It was a female woman. She said, try it. And I tried it. And she was watching my eyes. And she said, perdona. Sí, no, se ve que no te gusta. I was suffering, los ojos, to eat something that's sweet. I really suffer. I suffer. I can't stand it. I remember, hay una expresión antigua en español, entrar en casa. Es cuando el novio entra y por primera vez conoce a los padres de la novia. Okay, yo entré en casa. On Christmas Eve, será Nochebuena, la cena. Yeah. And they meet me. And they offer me sugared fruit, what you call fruta escarchada. And out of courtesy, I took a bite. I almost threw up. I almost vomited from it. I just couldn't take it. And that's the only time in my life that I have tried. No sé cómo se dice fruta escarchada. I don't pay attention to these things. But I suffer with sweets. Soy un dragón. My number one capital, se dice en inglés deadly sin, pecado mortal. Deadly sin is gluttony. I like to eat. If I liked sweets, I would be this big. So I'm lucky. I'm very fortunate that I don't like sweets. All right. Okay, Anna Barghini. Por fin, un momento clave en la vida de dos jóvenes. They are having dinner in a small, intimate restaurant in the center of Stuttgart. Anna is visiting Stuttgart for business. She needs to deal with the engineers. Tratar con. She needs to deal with the engineers. Karl Polster isn't an engineer. He's the purchasing manager. But the purchasing manager is involved in the general transaction or operation. But Karl Polster has fallen in love with Anna. Yes, prendadísimo. Yeah. And she is interested in getting to know Karl a little bit better. And so he has invited her to his uncle's restaurant in the center of Stuttgart. After sending her last week, or a few days ago, a letter revealing his feelings, showing, revelar con V, showing his feelings. And here they are together in the restaurant, talking. Karl Polster, esto fue anoche, es en el pasado, Karl Polster was sitting opposite Anna, opposite, not next to each other. You see, he was sitting opposite Anna Barghini in a small, intimate restaurant in the center of Stuttgart. Even though he had opened his heart, even though he had opened his heart to Anna in a letter he had sent her the week before, he still felt self-conscious and unsure of himself with her. Okay, the week before he sent her a letter to Italy, to Verona. And in the letter, he opened his heart. So, the cat's out of the bag. Un dicho de la expresión es el gato ya ha salido de la bolsa. The cat's out of the bag. All right? ¿Cómo lo decían? The cat's out of the bag. Let's see if I can find it. The cat's out. Aquí es irse de la lengua, pero también es, ya está desvelado todo, revelado todo, ya ha salido todo. The cat's out of the bag. She knows he's crazy. She knows, Anna knows that he's crazy about her. But even though, aunque había abierto su corazón antes, aunque hubiera abierto, había. Even though he had opened his heart to Anna, in a letter he sent her the week before, he still felt self-conscious and unsure of himself with her, con ella. He still felt, a pesar de ello, seguía sintiendo inseguro con ella and self-conscious. Unsure, unsure, and self-conscious. Self-conscious, traducción literal sería autoconsciente. ¿Qué significa eso? Muy consciente de sí mismo, de eso, como decía las cosas como This self-conscious. A very self-conscious persona, no cortada, pero pendiente de qué impresión pueda estar proyectando. Y preocupado por ello. It's self-conscious. O sea, conscious of yourself. Self-conscious. Se usa mucho para tímido, cortado, self-conscious. Estoy muy cortado. Yeah, very self-conscious. So, even though he had opened his heart to Anna in a letter he had sent her the week before, he still felt self-conscious and unsure of himself with her. All right. She was rich, beautiful, and the general manager of the second largest car manufacturer in Europe. Toma. All right. She was rich and beautiful. And on top of that, y encima, se dice on top, encima de eso. And on top of that, she was the general manager of the second largest car seat manufacturer in Europe. What impressed him even more was that she was only 27. Yeah. Lo que le impresionó incluso más. What impressed him, impressed me, impressed you, lo que te impresionó a ti, I can see. What impressed you, what impressed me, what impressed him. What impressed him even more, aún más, todavía más, was that she was only 27. Of course, one could say, los mal pensados, como podrían decirlo, of course, uno podría decir, one could say that she was, well, of course, one could say that her wealth, su riqueza, her wealth and corporate position were the result of having a rich father, un papá rico, who owned a company. Yeah. Yeah. The cynics, los mal pensados, los cínicos, decimos en inglés. The cynics, los que hacen ruidos fétidos desde las gradas. ¿A que sí? Los hay. All right. One could say, of course, one could say that her wealth and her corporate position was because she had a rich father, or the result of having, el resultado de tener, was the result of having a rich father who owned a company. However, her beauty was hers, and hers alone. Yeah, su belleza era suya y solo suya. And hers alone, or hers only también. Yes. And she had already won the respect of a lot of people at Mercedes-Benz, thanks to her keen business sense. You see, Anna and her father have traveled to Stuttgart many times. This is a very important negotiation. It's a very important project for the new models of Mercedes. The car seats to be made in Italy. Italy? All right. And so it's a big decision. And Luigi and Anna have traveled to Stuttgart many times, usually dealing with the engineers in the manufacturing process, not the purchasing manager or the general manager. And Anna has won the respect of the people at Mercedes. So, she's not a silly, frivolous little rich girl. No. She's an intelligent woman and beautiful. All right. So, however, her beauty was hers and hers alone, and she had already won. Ya había ganado el respeto. She had already won the respect. Ahora, fonéticamente. Ella había ya ganado el respeto de Mercedes. She had already won. Recuerda que el pasado de one o el participio se pronuncia como el número uno. One. She had already won the respect. Ahora, lo hacemos. She had doll. ¿Cómo se dice muñeca? Doll. Had doll. She had already won the respect. Practican un poco este truco. No son trucos, son realidades fonéticas de conectividad. She had all. No os cuesta decir doll, muñeca, doll. También muñeca es wrist, Okay, doll. Had all, bad all, cadall, fadall. She had already. And you can practice this. Y decir esta frase tonta 80 veces en el coche mañana. She had already won the respect. She had already won the respect. Ya había ganado el respeto. She had already won the respect. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Yes, she had already won the respect of the people, no? The respect of kin. She had already won the respect of people at Mercedes-Benz. Thanks to, gracias a su sentido intenso y bueno de los negocios, because of her, or thanks to her keen business sense. Carl, el otro, el pobrecito este, Carl wanted so much to gain her affection that he couldn't help feeling nervous. He couldn't help feeling nervous. He was nervous. Yeah. Hello, Anna. Yeah. Yeah. He was nervous. Poor Carl. He wanted so much. Es que es lo que él quería, bueno, ganar su amor, sí. He wanted so much to gain her affection, su afecto, su cariño. He wanted so much to gain her affection that he couldn't help feeling nervous. No podía evitar sentirse nervioso. He couldn't help aquí es evitar, no es ayudar. He couldn't help feeling nervous. He was 34 years old. 34. I'm just 27. Man. He was 34. He was 34 years old and hadn't had a serious relationship with a woman since he was 27. 7 años sin tener novia ni nada. All right. 7 years. Back then, when he was 27, 7 years ago, back then he was engaged. Estaba prometido to a girl from Hanover. But 2 months before they were supposed to be married, she died in a traffic accident. All right. So his fiancée died in a traffic accident 2 months before the wedding. It's tragic. Since then, Carl has tried to forget the loss by devoting himself entirely to his job. Since then, siempre paro en las cosas que para mí son socorridísimas y necesarias. Since then. The other part of the sentence is less important. Since then. Carl has tried to forget the loss, la pérdida. L-O-S-S, loss. He has tried to forget the loss. ¿Cómo? By devoting himself, dedicándose, devotándose, decimos que devoto. By devoting himself entirely, de forma entera, to his job at Mercedes-Benz. Okay, his work. He had moved up in the ranks. Escalafón. Los rangos. He had moved up in the ranks in the company and was now the general purchasing director. He realized that his decision, he realized that his devotion, se dio cuenta de su devoción, su dedicación. He realized that his devotion to work had changed his personality and made him a much more serious person. All right. That's why he was now having trouble connecting with Ana. That's why he was now. Es por eso que ahora mismo estaba teniendo problemas en conectar bien. In connecting with Ana. In a fun, natural way. Este chico. All right. During the dinner, how much time do we have? Do we have time to finish this? Yeah. Okay, I think so. During the dinner, he told her about the tragic events of 7 years before and how he had thrown himself, se había lanzado al trabajo, nada más, and how he had thrown himself into his work at the company. Ana said very little during most of the meal. Ana said very little, dijo muy poco. Ana didn't speak during the meal. All right. However, she felt comfortable and at ease. She felt comfortable and at ease. At ease. She felt comfortable. Comfortable no hay problema. Se sentía cómoda. Confortable. Comfortable. Fijaos, tres sílabas. Comfortable. All right. And at ease. Attention. At ease. In the military, when the superior officer says, attention, everybody se cuadra. Everybody stands at attention. And then he says, descansen, at ease. Es escrito ease. Viene la palabra fácil. But ease means facilidad. Ease. Enseño con facilidad. I teach with ease. Ease. But at ease means cómodo, tranquilo. Okay. So she felt comfortable and at ease during the meal. She didn't talk much. She didn't say very much. Ana said very little. Ana dijo muy poco. During the meal, during most of the meal, the majority of the meal. La comida es una cena, pero vamos, meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner are 3 meals during the meal. However, she felt comfortable and at ease. Carl seemed like a sad person. Una persona un poco triste. Who was trying his best to be a pleasant host. Intentando ser un agradable anfitrión. He seemed sincere. Parecía sincero. And she could see that he was very cultured. All right. Cultured. Culture is cultura. Now, to be cultured, ser culturado, literalmente, means tener una alta cultura, una buena cultura, una amplia cultura. Yes, persona muy cultivada, digamos. A very cultivated person. Cultivated, no, me gusta más cultured. And so she could see that he was very cultured. So, this is a strange relationship, really, with a German man and an Italian woman. The German man is very serious, a bit sad perhaps, but he's very much attracted to this young Italian lady, who's also very intelligent and very cultured. Yes. And he doesn't know how to properly, he doesn't know how to deal with it in a fun, natural way. I feel sorry for Carl Polster, but in the end, ¿qué les va a pasar, digo yo? I don't know. Would you like to know? Te doy el spoiler. Do you want to know? No? Do you want to know what happens? Here's a picture of Luigi Barghini. All right. And here's a picture of Karl Polster. All right. It's the last episode in the book. We see them again. In what situation? I'll have to tell you another day. We'll have to maybe wait maybe about 5 days. In 4 or 5 days, maybe I'll tell you again what happens. But for the moment, we will leave them in the restaurant, the small, intimate restaurant in the center of Stuttgart, owned by Karl's uncle, by the way. Yes. And we'll leave them together talking, although Karl is doing most of the talking. Karl is doing most of the talking, okay? But I'm out of time. Marta's telling me to cortar el rollo, so I'm going to stop. See you tomorrow.